Why is Argentina's new, outspoken, pro-capitalist president taking advice from his enemies? Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. Javier Milei, who became president of inflation-racked Argentina barely 6 months ago, is the most colorful, unapologetic advocate of free market economics the world has seen in this century. He boldly, bluntly lectured global political and commercial leaders at their annual gathering in Davos, Switzerland, on the virtues of free enterprise and attacked the consensus there for heavy-handed, ever bigger government. In a recent visit to Spain, he roundly roasted the socialist government there. Milei is now visiting high-tech biggies in the U.S. to get them to invest in Argentina. In office, he has lived up to his promise to take a chainsaw to bloated government spending, firing tens of thousands of bureaucrats and emasculating just about every program he could legally lay his hands on. To the astonishment of all, he achieved budget surpluses a few weeks after taking office. But alas, Milei is making two related catastrophic mistakes that will lead to failure. This failure will allow the all too numerous lovers of big, overbearing government to crow, "Free markets don't work. We need more taxes, more spending, more controls, not less." A Milei flop will set back the cause of liberty, especially in developing, debt-ridden countries that need a model of economic success. Milei's fundamental blunder is not following through on his biggest, most important campaign promise of all, ridding the country of its near-worthless peso and replacing it with the U.S. dollar. Two other Latin American nations, Ecuador and El Salvador, successfully junked their currencies for the dollar in the early 2000s. These dollarizations have been so popular that even leftist governments there haven't reversed them. Instead, Milei and his ministers have been temporizing. Incredibly, he's been playing footsie with the IMF, which is like letting vampires into a blood bank. The IMF for decades has perpetuated anti-free market nostrums like devaluations. Some of his appointments are people who have no sympathy for dollarization. What Milei must understand is that there are two keys for prosperity: a stable currency and low tax rates. Everything else flows from these. Instead, he is continuously devaluing the peso. This is insane. Currency devaluation is the very definition of inflation. He's apparently swallowed the absurdity that a country must undergo deprivation before a stable monetary system can be achieved. This is like refusing to give antibiotics to a patient suffering serious pneumonia until the pneumonia subsides. Dollarization is the antibiotic here. It would quickly kill this hyperinflation. The economy would, within weeks, start to flourish again. This success would give Milei the political capital to achieve his other extensive free market reforms, which are largely being stymied by his political opponents. Instead, Milei has fallen into a deadly trap, his second ghastly mistake: the idea that you must depress an economy to conquer inflation. Milei's austerity has weakened an already deeply troubled economy. The poverty rate is now a sickening 55%. Opponents say there are not enough dollars to replace the peso. That is nonsense. Thanks to chronic past inflations, Argentinians hold over $200 billion of greenbacks. The experiences of Ecuador and El Salvador provide real-world examples on how to proceed quickly. To save his presidency and advance the cause of liberty, Milei must dollarize ASAP. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.